Hello, swivel heads. Just in time for the 60th anniversary of Nagasaki, or Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Donald Trump has shortened the deadline for Russia. Yes, he's had a 50-day deadline, which was going to go out to the 2nd of September for Vladimir Putin to sign a peace deal with Ukraine. But now he said 10 to 12 days. 10 to 12 days, my gosh, folks, 10 to 12 days is right on us. 10 to 12 days is, somewhere between the 7th, the 9th, possibly the 6th, depending on how you count it. What's the 6th of August? The 6th of August is the 60th anniversary of the first ever use of a nuclear device in war. It's when the little, it's where we dropped Little Boy on Hiroshima. Excuse me, Nagasaki. Anyway, and then we dropped on the 9th, we dropped Fat Man of August. 60th anniversary, my friends, 60th anniversary coming up, and we are sitting right on top of it. So what are we going to do, guys? I mean, this can't be lost on Putin and Medvedev. In fact, Medvedev has said that this threat is moving toward an act of war. And furthermore, we've got this, U.S. general who's actually threatened to take Kaliningrad and said we can take it faster, than ever. That just amazingly quick we could take over Kaliningrad. And then, of all places, Latvia is actually allegedly making threats of war. Little Latvia, who really couldn't stand up. It's like a little Chihuahua trying to eat a Angus bull. So I don't know, guys. This, we are, and then you look at all the domestic violence that's going on right now. The domestic violence that is occurring right now is off the charts. I mean, if suddenly peace broke out in the rest of the world, what's going on right here at home is enough to prep for. It's enough to be aware of. It's enough to keep your eyeballs open and head on the swivel. And that's what I always ask you guys to do. I see Sergeant Lee in the chat room here talking about some numerology for August. I don't know, guys, but we got to remember this. Donald Trump actually, made that so-called threat to Iran and made out like we were still doing peace talks, and then he bombed them. So how does all this look to Iran? What do we think Russia's going to think about? And to make it all the worse, our dear friend, Chicken Hawk Lindsey Graham, I say dear friend facetiously, he came out and he said when Trump made that 50-day deadline that Trump was going to whip Putin. And then he drew up the idea of Iran as an analogy. Well, Lindsey Graham never saw a war he didn't like, but we're going to talk about him more toward the end of the podcast because there's some good news in regards to that creep. That war creep. Oh my gosh, guys, war pigs. Maybe Ozzy Osbourne left us just in time. Maybe he didn't want to see all this mess. War pigs. That seems to be where we're at. I mean, the world is going insane. I mean, this is downright biblical where things are heading now. Do you think it's biblical? If you think it's biblical, put a 2 in the chat room. If you think not, put a 1. But where we're heading right now is just off the charts. I mean, the whole world is losing its ever-loving proverbial mind. I've never seen such a mess in my life. What do you think? What do you think, guys? I mean, tell me in the chat room. We are in a pickle right now. And it's war, wars and rumors of wars in every theater that a war could be fought. It is, even Thailand and Cambodia are going at it. So it is nuts. I don't know how else to say it. It is just nuts what's happening. Anyway, guys, if there's ever any time to prep, right now is it. I mean, time may be getting really short. Get yourselves ready. That's what I got to say. I hope this stuff does not come to pass. But, I say it's better to prep and pray and hope for a better day. Get yourself ready for yourselves, your family. I'm going to go right in and start sharing some articles here in a minute. I want you guys to see some things here. So hang on a minute. I'm going to do a share screen. Bada bing, bada bang. And we're going to get straight into it. If I'm looking a little rough, I'm not getting much sleep, guys. I've not had time to do videos. I got so many irons in the fire right now. You just wouldn't believe it. So many irons. I hope this is the right one. Is this the right one I want to bring up? That is not what I want to say. I'm going to stop share. So it's not going to go where I want it to. Hang on. I'm going to stop this for a second. I got to go here and look at my window. Something's oddball where I'm wanting to go here. That is not. Yeah, it is. Give me a second, guys. I got to pull things up where I want them. That is not what I wanted to see. And all right. Yeah, okay. There we are. Let's try this again. Sorry, guys. Sometimes my studio ain't lined up quite like I thought it was. I thought I had everything lined up and ready to go, but it was a little bit of kilter. There we go. That looks right. Now, to top it all off, the economy is built on a house of cards on a sandy beach with a hurricane coming in, wind and waves. Oh my gosh, guys. Ray Dalio has said that the United States, due to its $37 trillion debt, is facing an economic heart attack. And Jamie Dimon over at JP Morgan ain't sounding a whole lot better about it all, my friends. In fact, they're recommending you invest your portfolio in what? Well, they're claiming Bitcoin, which ain't gonna be no good if the grid goes down, and gold. Now, I say if you want to buy gold, get gold you can hold. That would be my advice for gold. And if you go here to Defy the Grid, that's exactly what you can do. DefyTheGrid.com. It might be one of your last good chance. You can buy gold, silver, platinum. You can get it in coins, rounds, bars. And of course, they got the good deal here that let's see, if you find a better price somewhere else, they'll meet it or beat it. Who else makes you an offer like that? And you can get goldbacks, which is what I like, my friends, goldbacks. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get to the war news here. Yeah. Here it is. Trump says he's shortening the 50-day deadline for Russia. Yeah, to 10 or 12 days. Now, why so unspecific? 10 or 12 days. Well, we're about 10 or 13 days from Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'm getting backwards here tonight. Guys, I ain't having much sleep. Anyway, yeah, that can't be lost on them. NATO can take down Kaliningrad faster than ever, says U.S. General Donahue. What's he talking about? He's talking about using AI. They're talking about using basically Palantir and all kinds of systems like that. They think they can go in and really just take the Russian stuff out. Well, that's going over really nice, I'm sure, with Russia, because Medvedev just replied to Trump's new deadline is a step toward war. Kid you not, I'm not going to go in and read everything in great detail here, but here's an article that just come out. And this is a topic that we've talked about several times on this channel. Vladimir Putin could start a space war with a nuclear Pearl Harbor attack on American satellites. Now, what is it they're not telling you in these articles? I've seen a zillion of these articles on this topic talking about the Russian space weapons, and they're always talking about attacks on satellites. Why? What are they not telling you? What they're not telling you is that unless they do this over certain remote areas of the Pacific Ocean, this is an EMP attack. How in the world? Hey, we got a super chat. All right, very good. Thank you there, Christopher Napier. Coffee fun. Amen. From Houston, Texas. I appreciate that, and I'll have a swig of coffee to that. And Lord Almighty, I'm getting so little sleep, I am needing a lot of coffee right now. All right, very good, very good. So thank you. So salute to you. Now, guys, get to it here. Vladimir Putin is, he's looking at all this stuff. And, if he's got this philosophy, Vladimir Putin's got a philosophy that, if you think you're going to be hit, you strike first. Are we kind of convincing him with the timing of all this stuff, with the dangerous language of Lindsey Graham comparing Trump's deadline to the war with Iran, saying that we're going to whip Putin? That's what he said. He used those words. He said we're going to whip Putin. He said Trump is going to whip Putin specifically. A trade embargo is what Trump has talked about publicly. A trade embargo is not whipping somebody. Lindsey Graham is evoking some other notion here. Now, maybe he's just playing bad dog, but it sounds more like mad dog to me. Mad dog Graham. Jeez. Hey, my friends in South Carolina, get rid of Lindsey, but we're going to go to that in a little bit. We got some more on Lindsey in a minute. Anyway, there's more stuff on this anti-satellite weapon that's come out. Over the past few weeks, more and more things coming out on Turner warns of Russia's new anti-satellite weapons program during speech at the CSIS, which is, let's see, the CSIS is this organization. It's, it's, I think, in Europe. I thought it would come right up. Anyway, I ain't gonna dwell on it. We're gonna move on. And here's more on this topic, looking at EMP side of things, guys. This is really what we're talking about. But none of these articles ever talk about why are they not talking about EMP? Maybe they just don't want you to know what kind of threat you're up against. Maybe they don't want to paint the picture of how dangerous it is to poke the bear. You got to remember, 9 out of 10 people in America will be gone within a year due to societal collapse, according to the congressionally mandated EMP task force. And they weren't accounting for, when I asked Dr. Peter Vincent Pry, the late, great Dr. Pry, if that study accounted for the spent fuel rods and nuclear power plants kicking off, he said no, it did not. So I would expect that's the optimistic estimate. And if you hear some other buddies like John Hollerman talking, that year is not a year. It's just a matter of months, like 3 or 4 months, till we have massive loss of U.S. population. So this is no joke, guys. This is no joke. That's why I did the video that saying the EMP effect would be worse. A nationwide EMP would be worse than a full-scale nuclear war. Anyway, so, this article is out of the Kyiv Post. Total mobilization. Russia spend $1.1 trillion preparing for war. Hey, we got another one from Christopher. Thank you, sir. $20. Well, get you some good coffee grinds. Hey, I will. Salute to you. Thank you, sir. And once I make coffee, I'm saving them because I do plan to get worms again. I'm in the process of getting my water to run out to the point where I'll have worms. If the good Lord permits and the world's still turning, or at least we're still on it while it's turning. Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate the great super chats here tonight. So let's move on here. And U.S. intelligence warns now. See, now that came from Kyiv. I would say anything coming out of Kyiv, they're always warning us, because they want American commitment. They want to get America pulled into this war and Europe. So they're always threatening how Russia's going to go next to Europe and America. Hey, we got Jesse Mills in the house. Good to see you back, buddy, my neighbor up the road. Ukrainians are protesting in the streets to get rid of Zelensky. Yeah, I don't blame them. He's had no election. We're supposedly defending democracy over there, but really, what is it? If you think Ukraine today is a democracy, put a 3 in the chat room. If you think it's something else, put a 3. Put a 4. If you think it's a 3, if you think Ukraine represents democracy, 4. If you think it's something else. He suspended elections, That's one of the terms that Putin asked for, was to hold elections. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that idea. Not in my humble opinion. But anyway, guys, so supposedly U.S. intelligence is coming up with the same assessment. Now, but what they cited, Ukraine's intelligence chief, Budanov. Yeah, right. That smells fishy to me. I don't know about you, but to me, that smells fishy. Anyway, Putin unleashes July storm. Operation Defiant of Trump. See, that's what happened. Trump gave him a deadline and Putin just doubled down on the attack. Well, I think Putin is determined to take a chunk of Ukraine. He at least wants to take the Donbass area and the connecting areas to Crimea for a buffer. We've talked about that in the past. And those areas have voted to be with Russia. They want to be in Russia. So, why are we fighting and risking our lives, our homeland, over regions of Ukraine that don't even want to be part of Ukraine? I got an issue with that. If you got an issue with that, I'd like to see it 6 in the chat room. If you think that we ought to be throwing everything into that conflict, put a 5 in. I'm not there right now. I'm not there at all. Anyway, Russia says NATO's threatening World War III, and latest reference. Now they're talking about this, could take Kaliningrad faster thing. So that's another thing where they're saying we're talking about war. See, there's just so many. There's so many straws being piled up on this camel's back. When do we break it? When do we break it, my friends? Yeah, that's an article on the same thing. Bing, bing, bing. Let's move on. So here it is. Vladimir Putin warned tiny NATO nations preparing for war on Russia's border. We're talking about Lithuania, the little Chihuahua wanted to eat up the Black Angus bull. I saw a Chihuahua one time doing that. I saw a Chihuahua just raising Cain. He thought that thing acted like he was going to eat a big Angus bull. He was barking a big Angus bull. That old Angus bull just like turned around and turned his head sideways. And like, what in the world is this? I died. I was a kid. I died laughing when I saw that. But anyway, that's just a story. That's why I use that analogy. Anyway, and now experts warns that Russia's preparing to invade another country. Well, who are these experts? And what country is it going to invade? They've talking here about Moldova, Lithuania, and these kind of articles. I don't know, my friends. Moldova is not a NATO nation, but Lithuania is. What do we got going on here? Something is like in my article. Yeah. Well, nuclear weapons increasing as Russia and Ukraine war, Israel, Iran conflict, reunites prospects for war. They're talking about the whole world, everything going on. Nuclear weapons are being manufactured in North Korea, in China, Russia, U.S., everywhere. Nuclear weapons are increasing. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. Are we close to World War III? Russia could be prepared to carry out strikes against Western countries, according to this article in support of Ukraine. But Medvedev is making talks about that because he says Ukraine's a proxy war of the West. But in essence, he says it's a full-fledged war against Russia, especially all these attacks going deep into Moscow and Russia. They're getting kind of weary of it over in Russia. Maybe or how much can we poke the bear? I don't know, my friends. How much can we poke the bear? Now look at the Chinese side. We're always talking about Chinese spies, Chinese hackers. And now they got this little report here said that a little known Microsoft program exposed U.S. national security secrets to Chinese hackers. And what it is that this program is in the Department of Defense computers. And turns out that it was been maintained. This program is supposed to be providing cybersecurity, but had been outsourced by Microsoft to China. Oh my gosh. I mean, can you make this stuff up? Can you make this stuff up? It is just nuts. Can you make this stuff up? How stupid can we get? Well, thank you, Billy Goat Gates. Jeez. Oh, well. Some of them do favor China. Iran says it's ready for nuclear talks, but only if Washington rebuilds trust. But then it gets worse. Iran's also ready for war with Israel. Will not halt nuclear program. But Iran rocked by mystery explosions. Yeah, there's a whole lot of explosions going on in Iran right now. And they believe that they're Mossad operations. So is this war over? You tell me. Is it actually over? Iran blocks, U.S. destroyer, the USS Fitzgerald near its territorial waters. And then, it's said that the Iranian supreme leader sleeps and gets high on substances all day. Really? The religious leader of Iran? Well, he may be in a lot of pain. It may be true. But boy, this is just the kind of guy you want who might one day have his finger on a nuclear bomb. You get the point you get some people going Looney Tunes, but then again, maybe the whole world's Looney Tunes. Everybody their finger on the nuclear button may be Looney Tunes. The world's going nuts. And then turns around now, Trump is threatening, as he says, stupid Iran. And he's griping, hey, we took out their nuclear program, but they just don't want to quit. So, we're going to have to do something about it. How about leaving it up to Israel? Why are we even in the game? But then exiled Iranian prince Reza Pahlavi says he's got 50,000 defectors that have pledged support to him to be the leader of the movement to topple the Tehran regime. I say we'll leave it to him and we'll leave it to Israel and let's keep our nose out of the business. That's my My take. Y'all think we should keep our nose out of the business? If you do, put an 8 in the chat room. If y'all think that we need to be going in there again, I'd like to see a 7 in the chat room. What do y'all think? Now, domestic terrorism. I'm going to try not to be all night here tonight. A man accused of, this is not a nug, guys. This is a blade, some sharp implement attacking 11 people at Walmart. What this article don't tell you is a man with a nug stopped him. Good man with a nug. In fact, it was a black man that stopped him and a white guy that was making the attack. But now, because I guess he's a white guy, they decided to charge him with terrorism. Really? Weird. Terrorism. Well, what he did was bad enough. It's a crime as it is. Then we got this thing that just went down in New York City. Oh yeah, CNN came out initially, even after this photo was posted. So he might be a white dude. Why do they even go there? Why do they have to talk about that? What do they have to do with anything? He's a criminal. I don't give a darn what color you are. If you're a criminal, you're a criminal. Prosecute him. Well, this guy is no longer alive, but still, he was a criminal. He self-terminated. And then we got this thing in Portland at a rave. Teenagers wounded. Again, not a nug. Jeez. If New York City had had nugs, this might not have happened. Oh, yeah, it happened in Black Rock headquarters, but he was calling for free in Arizona. Okay, well, some people want to see us go into Iran. Looks like most people do. Interesting. Oh, maybe we should pull on that one some more, see where you guys are at on it. And now, King Charles is appalled by Donald Trump's remarks. He's very concerned for his state visit because he's afraid he will say something that's anti-immigration. Are you kidding me? King Charles, you're a shame and a disgrace to the people of the United Kingdom and the world at large. You should step down. You ought to step down from the throne. Good Lord, England is going to cease to exist as a country as we know it due to what y'all are allowing in there. Good grief. King Charles, you are a shame and disgrace and an embarrassment. Wow. Anyway, now here's the good news that I promised you. Lindsey Graham may have a challenger in his primary, no less than the guy who started Project 2025. So this guy has some clout. Paul Dance, the director of infamous Project 2025, is mounting a brutal primary campaign against Lindsey Graham. Yay! I think it's about time. I might read through the chat room here a little bit. All righty, folks. The world's a shaking and a quaking. Whoa, what happened there? We got a big one over here. 6.5 off Sabang. It went bang off Sabang, Indonesia. We see some fresh ones over here in Puerto Rico. The Puerto Ricans are dancing tonight like they usually do. And we'll go over here to space weather in a minute. And we can see the sun. Got a lot of sunspots on it. A lot of sunspots. We're not in the solar minimum. We're not in the grand solar minimum. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back next cycle. But right now, it's just not there. There's no asteroid that's posing an immediate threat to us. But I tell you what, if that comet they're talking about coming from outside our solar system were to hit us, it's bigger than what wiped out the dinosaurs and coming way faster, over twice the speed. That would be an extinction level event. Now, this isn't going to hit us, but that doesn't mean that one couldn't. Now, that's the event. The only way to be prepped is that we'd have all our eggs off this third rock in the sun. We'd have to be colonizing space using Elon Musk and some other Jeff Bezos technology. Get out there. Anyway, I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to look at the chat room, guys, see what you guys are having to say. See where you're at on what see if you're picking up what I'm putting down or if you want to take it to some other round. And that's okay, too. I don't require you to agree with me. I do believe in freedom of speech, which is unlike some channels and platforms. Let's see if I can find where you guys are on here. There we are. Now, we go to the chat room. Tim, Anna, all the sun. We got all the sun. I'm Alice Sun. Sasquatch Moon, New Days. How are you, Hawaii Girl, Sergeant Lee, Alice Van de Bergen. Says, who? Thank you, Green Reds. I don't truly like this info, but it is what it is. I don't like it either. I didn't say I liked it, but you know, like you said, it is what it is. I'm just bringing it to you guys because I think like all the sun. She's put two pickles in there. Yeah, we're in a pickle. That's what I think. We're in a pickle right now, and we got to get ready. Catherine Humphreys. I'm from South Carolina, and I'm getting rid of Lindsey Graham. There you go. Today, Blackstone, the perfect Ashtar, 33. Or was he on a 33-4? Wow. You numerology guys, I don't know. Something else. Jesse in the house. Charlie Timmons, the situation is far more serious than the Cuban Missile Crisis ever was. You are exactly right. And the media is really just not telling it to us that way. I don't know why. They just don't want us to know. Yeah. Ukrainians are protesting. Yeah, that's a good thing. Jesse, that's a good thing. Colorado Jan, how you doing, Colorado? She sends me a check in the mail every month. So salute to Colorado for her support of the channel, her in the mail super chats. Mr. Napier, Mad 4. Or Mad said 4. Let's see. Wayne Gore, KC Mac. Mavis. Oh, Sergeant Lee. Yeah, Mavis was who Nostradamus was predicting as an antichrist of sorts. Magus, Mabus, Magus. Well, he did throw words around. He did twist things. I don't know, guys. So, Diginon, is that your name? Diginon. Good morning. Who are these Chinese and U.S. singers that are to participate in September? Oh, sign 25. Oh, guys, that's a whole scam. This whole thing, China celebrating their defeat of the Japanese in World War II. The People's Republic of China had almost nothing to do with that defeat. It was the Republic of China and the King Chik that was fighting the Chinese, and he fought them hard and brutally. And I guess his military was a little bit weakened over that. And, you know, the People's Republic of China then overthrew them, and they went to exile to the island of Formosa, which we know is Taiwan. The Republic of China was the pre-existing government of China. It's not a renegade province. They just escaped an insurrection. So a little different story. But anyway, guys, this the United States, in conjunction with China, the Republic of China, not the People's Republic of China, is what took out the Japanese, mainly the United States. And who dropped the bombs? But are the Chinese going to give us any credit? I mean, the People's Republic of China going to give us any credit? The CCP? No. They're a bunch of ingrates. You ever find communists that weren't ingrates? Anyway, I'm on my laptop right now. My phone wasn't working. Okay, I think laptops work better. Let's see. Thank God, King John, Sergeant Lee. Let's see here. A sheriff. So Whitey Girl. And let's see who else. Whitey Girl, Colorado Jan, Christopher Naper. You're all saying that we ought to go into Iran again. The thing that bothers me is we have used up, according to the latest estimates, 25% of our naval warfare assets, missiles and things, in support of Israel. And this battle with Iran and all these others. So what it turns out is we only were estimated to have a few days worth in case we had to get into a war with China. So we're really hurting for this situation that we may get into with China. Hey, Arnold Smith, good to see you in the house. Tiffany Harmon, good to see you. Let's see, the lizard. Who's the lizard? Anyway, Sergeant Lee. Oops, I just skipped all the way to the bottom. I know what I meant to do. There we go. Old man Zeus and his little boy's servant. Our grandparents funded these end times. I don't think the regular Joe was doing it. Yellowstone Danger Zone. I've been hearing some recent talk about Yellowstone. Guys, I don't know. The whole Pacific Ring of Fire is getting active, more so than normal. And what they found is that there's globs inside the Earth that move around, and when they get in certain positions, they actually increase volcanic activity. So, and it's destined to happen at some point in the future, maybe right upon us. I mean, yeah, Mount Rainier just had more earthquakes than ever. So Seattle, watch out. Not to mention that the subduction zone off the coast there is primed and ready to go. So yeah, this we're looking at biblical times every way you can slice and dice it, in my humble opinion. I don't know, guys. I think we're in for some interesting times. Let's just put it that way. Hey, Cheery Weather, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you in the house. All righty. I don't see any sign of Michelle. Kim Possible might be hiding in the background. I only got 80 watching. That's what happens when I don't come on enough. I lose viewership when you're irregular, but I just can't do it. Earth is destabilizing. Well, that sounds kind of biblical, don't it? Yeah, it's good to have Chew with in the house. He's been such a big supporter, and he likes to mail things to me. He likes to send me things. So salute to Chew Weather. And I am going to check PayPal because Kim Possible sometimes likes to hide in the chat room. So I just want to make sure if there's any credit to be given, I give it. No, she's not in here tonight. So in any event, we've had a pretty good night here. How long we've been online here? 31 minutes. Very good. We could end early tonight. I got things to do. I got to get up early in the morning. That's another thing. I've been getting up like 5 o'clock in the morning, and staying up late is really kicking me. And I'm involved in some training in addition to my full-time job. Oh, good news. I got good news. Good news. On the 4th of July, I started on my solar. I said it was my Independence Day. On the 5th of July, just 20 hours after I started it up, I had an inverter blowout. On the 25th of July, I got the replacement inverter via warranty from the manufacturer, and I installed it the same day. So the 25th of July is for me Christmas in July. Ho, ho, ho. And the good news is that it has been running ever since. And the power that I'm talking to you from right now, the electrical power for the lights and everything you see here, is coming off my solar system that I designed myself. The manufacturer said they thought that the inverter had a bad power MOSFET inside, which figures because when you there's in the reliability world, there's what you call a bathtub curve. It's something just for you when you first start using it, because things haven't been burning or tested out. Things that are going to fail off the bat fail early, and that's the high end of failure rates. And failure rates drop down, and it gets real stable for a long time. Then when it gets old, failure rates come back up. So you got two curves and a flat bottom. That's why in the reliability world they call it a bathtub curve. So what the early failures are known as infant mortality. And I had 2 inverters and 3 charge controllers out there. So I had 5 different electronics pieces, and one of them went kaput. But right now, everything's still running good, so I got my fingers crossed and saying my prayers. Hopefully, they'll keep going. Merry Christmas, says Tiffany. Yeah, thank you. Ho, ho, ho. Green Greds. Doug Brother just posted a video on the removal of all homeless people. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I'm seeing some strange stuff out there. The homeless people are Trump signed something about mental illness versus the homeless people. Now, some of them do need help, but I don't know, guys. Aren't you guys about to leave Canada? Is Alberta about to go? I hear there's movements in Saskatchewan and Manitoba too. Please get your much needed rest. Yeah, that's why I want to end early tonight. I don't want to keep going much longer. So, I went through the news and I've gone through the chat, and we've kind of covered the grounds for tonight. So I think that's really pretty much everything that needs to be done for the sake of tonight. So I want to heartily thank Christopher for his great, wonderful super chats. Everybody else has supported this channel, because some of you guys send me things. Like I said, Chewy Weather and Colorado Jan have been very generous to me, and I really appreciate that. Salute to all you. Thank you, mods, for all you do to keep this channel clean. We are a family channel, and we are a family. And my apologies for not being on here more regular. I'm going to try in a couple of weeks, when I get some training behind me, to be far more regular again. And I'm going to try to, make some positive changes on this channel. So I got to figure out how I want to do a few of these things. So expect more of that. We'll talk about it maybe more in the near future. But for now, I want to call it a night. So once again, thank you, super chatters. Thank you, mods, and thank you everyone for watching. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, bang the bell, and click all. And make sure you share this with your friends. Leave comments in the comment section after I post a video, because all that stuff helps. The engagement helps YouTube know to share the video more. And I need all the help we can get with the algors that have no rhythm. So with that, I'm going to say again, thank you for watching, and everyone.